Hello, greetings from Silicon Valley. I am TK Lala, co-chair of the Edge Services and Platform Working Group. I also want to acknowledge my co-chair Prakash Ramchandran, who might be in the audience today. Now, before I dive into the actual content, just a quick, brief introduction about me. I run a consulting organization. We are engaged in product development and business services on the area of the AI, cybersecurity, edge networking in Silicon Valley. So prior to that, when after my graduate studies in Silicon Valley, graduate studies in Canada and U.S., I was involved with the in research, in networking research in Bell Labs, and managed R&D projects, several R&D projects at Bell Labs, and then moved on to Silicon Valley with many large companies such as NEC, Fujitsu, etc. And then I finally ran a few startups also in the similar area, and then moved on to a different technology, warfare, and cybersecurity. I am a senior member of the IEEE and expert system engineering professional from INCOSI, as well as the PMP certified professional. Okay, so here is, I wanted to go, let's move to the next slide. Okay, so let's a little bit about the edge technology introduction. The edge technologies move compute and analytics closer to our where data is produced or sourced, and also where data is used or consumed. Okay, to provide basically the whole idea is to provide more real-time experience and reduce thereby reducing the latency. So offloading the task from the centralized data centers or the clouds to local edge nodes, organizations can achieve low latency, better bandwidth efficiency, real-time responsiveness, and so forth. For many use cases, industrial IoT to connected vehicles and so forth. So we're trying to create a longer term on the charter, basically a longer term 10-year kind of development evolution roadmap with identifications for short 3 and 5-year trends. Our activities started around 2018. Since then, we have published yearly updates and webinars and workshops and events like this. Now, like many other working groups, as I mentioned, this group is also headed by two co-chairs, myself and Prakash. We also have other contributors. You can see their name. Please reach out to us if you want to join us and contribute on this. Okay, so and the earlier edition, let me move on to the next one. The earlier edition actually, we concentrated or focused on the use cases of the Industry 4, smart transportation management through the V2X communication, and how the edge networking might be helping and such, and also how edge networking is playing a role on the virtual local presence of the expertise from far, tele application basically, and then the mixed reality and the content delivery and so forth. So these are kind of in par with the efforts that are going on in the 5G and 6G evolution that you might see in the 3GPP release 18, 19 and such. Okay. So as a reference, I'm showing here a generic distributed edge interconnected network that is based on the decentralized DPIN, and this is a paradigm that decentralizes computation by processing and analytics closer to the data sources, as I said. So these are blockchain based, and they are showing different scales of connecting many different edge networks, and there could be clusters of industrial IoT, there could be clusters of smart city and so forth. I won't go into too much into this thing, but you get the idea. This scope ranges from very small personal individual level edge node to very large industrial scale node that is situated in the closer to the industry. They all serve the same purpose, that is basically to lower the latency and provide you a more direct real-time experience, near real-time experience rather. Okay. More. Go to the next one. Okay, so some of the things that here is important is that the edge infrastructure we're seeing in the 2025 and in the current years, the AI is playing a significant role and is the most consequential technology in modern times. So we have to be influenced by this and our AI. We believe that the edge can play a significant role, and AI is a very integral part of that edge, and that's what you are seeing here. We are based on the peer-to-peer, most likely going to see the peer-to-peer and blockchain integrity through the DPIN type of network in the edge infrastructure. Then we will also see incentive-based crowd resource networks. So when you need additional resources beyond the local edge node, that you could reach out, and those resources will be available because of the monetary incentives that they receive. And also, this edge network might be providing connection to the low latency non-terrestrial network like Starlink and so forth, which are approaching about 20 milliseconds. Now, the scopes of the edge, I told you, home platform, basically almost from the individual level, personal level, to large campus level also. Now, hardware technology that is influencing the AI is coming from no surprise here: NVIDIA, AMD, Google, etc. And they are engaged in providing basically a collaborated, more comprehensive development platform with their software side of it, like CUDA, for example, from the NVIDIA, AMD also providing ROCm, and they are providing actually real model even you can get. And speaking of model, AI models basically, so the inferencing portion of the model is more relevant to the edge at this point, but also the training model can be helped through the fine tuning and adaptation in the resources that is available, depending on how much the resources available in the edge. Now, hybrid edge and cloud based also AI models are can be trained, and that's certainly we are seeing. Now, on the other side of the technology, like the networking or the communication, 5G to 6G migration, terabit Ethernet, these things, they are very much incorporating AI and also edge networking. So NVIDIA, Broadcom, these people are very much engaged in the terabit and Wi-Fi 7 in the local area, Qualcomm and so forth. And we're also seeing a significant amount of leveraging on the cloud services to provide mega service and development platform for AI training. For example, in collaboration with AWS, Azure, or some of these cloud services, we can provide these edge, can provide such development platform and the services that will allow help AI training or fine tuning. Now, on the security side of it, the zero trust security is a given everywhere, but I think we will see some smarter arrangement on the security. We don't have to have an overkill, because in many cases many of these resources are localized, so they are inherently a little bit more secure. You do not have to build up more trust, more security overkill on that one, so you optimize these security solutions on the edge as opposed to something that you might see in the cloud, where in the public domain and such. Okay, so some of the challenges: smart resources management. Resources must be managed, as I mentioned, and because smart resources are limited in a single node. So you go to the next node or on the edge node that you saw earlier on the distributed edge network, that could be under different jurisdiction or could be under the same ownership, and you would still be able to cleverly manage the resource management based on your need, which one is more critical processing versus less critical processing, and that kind of things, and also incentivized for the underutilized resource capacity to be utilized in and the nodes that they didn't have originally, that resources. And the resiliency, now we're always approaching, everybody is going to look for the no fault or the full fault recovery and so forth, but I think there is reduced cap uh, there is room for reduced capability or degraded performance recovery. And you can see some of those also being illustrated in release 18 and release 19. So that reduces the minimize the downtime. And at the end, nothing, not but the list, but the challenge is obviously to keep improving on the low latency that we are seeing in the edge, and currently it's hovering around 5 milliseconds at the best cases, but I think in expectation is sub milliseconds, so we are probably going to be seeing those things in the very near future for a whole end-to-end functional thread. Okay, that's the end of my discussion. If you have any question, please reach out to us offline, of course, in this case, or connect with our my co-chair there.